So just starting with a very quick thank you very much for inviting us here today. We're from Community Fibre. I'm Chris Williams, I'm the CIO. I've been at Community Fibre now for 2.5 years, previously of BT, EE, Orange. So I've been in telco since I was pretty much young and good looking actually, which as you can tell is a long time ago. My colleague Kirsty Goddard, Kirsty is our head of service management. She's also our head of data. She's our head of GIS. So many hats.
Many.
But delighted to be here talking to you today. And we really wanted to talk to you this morning about our story, our big data story, and just to give you an idea, talk a little bit about Community Fibre, who we are, just in case you haven't heard of us. We'll talk then about why we chose Domo as our partner in the big data space. We'll talk about the use cases that we've enacted over the last couple of years, and we will also talk about, for us, what the future looks like in that big data space. So, Community Fibre. How many in the room, just out of interest, a quick poll, have heard of Community Fibre? Who's
So bad?
third to a half? Okay, that's really good. We are London's biggest full fibre network. We are a network that now has 300,000 customers in the capital. We have a secondary brand called Box Broadband that's being incorporated into Community Fibre that operates out of Surrey, Sussex, Hampshire, Kent. And we're a B2B customer, we're a B2B company, we're a B2C company, and we're also a wholesale company. We do full fibre services, we do TV, we do voice services, we do Wi-Fi services, and some security. So quite a wide range. So we're a small version of companies like BT or Virgin, offering multi-play solutions predominantly to the London area, but as I said, down to the south coast as well. We're growing quickly, very quickly. When I joined the business a couple of years ago, we had 1/10 of the customers that we have today. So data is an incredibly important part of what we're doing, and to keep pace with that growth and to understand what's happening in our business, data is absolutely critical. Just to say, as well as being a corporate enterprise, we also take community very seriously, and we try and live up to that aspiration of being a community organisation as well as a corporate business. So we're doing 3 things that we think are very important to bring community to light in our business. The first one of those is we're trying to get fast internet connection to those that maybe haven't had it in the past. Going into areas of London that will be low socioeconomic and areas that we think can benefit most from getting that fantastic internet connection. And we're selling it in those areas at a very low price. The second thing is we're also doing training, education. We're using our staff to go out running seminars and trying to get people that aren't necessarily the most tech savvy people to be able to use the internet and do great things, whether it's manage their finance online or be connected for social inclusion to their friends and family. We're trying to help the people that are not connected at the moment. And then finally, if people can't afford to have a connection of their own, we've connected 650 community centres across the capital with connectivity so that people have got somewhere to go and be able to connect if they need to. So we're genuine about being community as well as offering those commercial services. So, why Domo for us? Why did we select the Domo product? We started with a vision of what we were looking for. We wanted to be a data-driven company. We knew that we were making decisions based on gut feel. We knew our decision making as we were growing that fast needed to change, and we needed factual decisions as opposed to being gut feel. We also knew that we had an incredibly rich data set potentially. Working with any network, you find that the network itself produces an incredible amount of data, whether that's about faults, issues, what a customer is doing on the network, and that's all in addition to the general data that we have through our CRM type systems. So we had a potentially fantastic data pool to look at, but really we didn't have the capability of being able to exploit that. So bringing all of that data together and having a single source of data for us was incredibly important. Being able to do that at scale and open up data to our entire user community was also something that we felt very strongly about. Data had to be for everybody. Obviously we had to have governance, controls, guardrails to make sure that we were doing that in a safe way, but everybody in the company needs data, right the way down to our sales guys that are out knocking the doors, door to door, everybody including our customer services agents that need to understand their own performance, right the way through to the CEO. Everybody needed quality data and quick data. We needed the solution to be affordable. We're a growing company, but we're a company with budgets just like anybody else. So what we had to be value for money for us. And then the other critical thing for us is we wanted to deliver this quickly, but we wanted the solution to be able to do multiple things. So we needed a solution that could do our visualization for us. We needed a solution that could do our orchestration for us, and we needed a solution that could do our warehousing for us. We knew we could go out and buy the individual solutions. We could go to Gartner, get best in class of everything, but we also know the challenges and perils of trying to integrate this. And we also knew that we wanted to do this all and get all of our data in one place in less than 12 weeks. And that was our challenge. So, what happened? Well, we did it. We bought the solution, we contracted, and within 12 weeks, we had every bit of data from our company in one place, in one location, through the connectors that we were able to install. And we also started consuming data from outside our company to enrich those data sources. And as I say, 12 weeks. Every week we were connecting multiple data sources and drawing that data together. We'd never done that. We'd never had that in our business before. And the power of that and the speed that we did that at was fantastic. What we then did is really democratize that data across our business. We started with the ethos that everybody should have the data, and then slimmed it down on the basis of, well, you know, we really shouldn't need to give that data set to those people. But we started on the basis that everybody gets everything as much as we possibly could. Doing that has undoubtedly changed our business's culture. We are a different business having done that today. Everybody has data at their fingertips. We use the app with our sales guys that are out knocking the doors. Every customer services guy can see their own performance on a dashboard, and they're looking at that in real time. We can see our sales, we can see our performance of every key journey that we have for our customers. And the power of that has literally changed our culture. The conversations we're having now when we're making key business decisions always start with the data. What does the data say? What is the data telling us? And you cannot build a culture like that, I don't think, without that high level of democratization, to some extent trusting your staff, trusting your people, that the data is going to be used for that purpose and wisely. But we have been able to also democratize further. We deal with government agencies, we deal with suppliers, with partners, and we've also been able to democratize our data to those people to get a wider ecosystem of collaboration running And that has also helped us hugely with our efficiency in our business. And we have built like crazy. Services, automations, every experience now we have a dashboard for, we are measuring. And we do not do new things without having data at the heart of what we do. In every project, we're looking at what does it mean? What's the consequence? What's the outcome? So we're building that into those projects as we go and as we run. So I'm going to hand over to Kirsty now, who's going to talk more about how we're embedding the services and how Domo fits in for us.
Okay, thank you everybody. So as Chris says, we've managed to incorporate data from all of our main platforms, and here's just a snippet of what we've managed to incorporate at a very high speed. And we continue to do that project after project as they come on. And for me, my team is service management and data, which might seem a bit of an odd combination, but actually it's been an amazing combination for us because my service managers are absolutely loving this tool. If it's the one tool, I've been in telecoms for 25 years, I've seen lots of tools come and go, I've done lots of reporting, but Domo's really changed the way. I do it in real time. I don't just write a dashboard once a month and pull some stats off a spreadsheet. I'm doing it every single day. And this for me has been what's been changed the way that we work with this tool. And for me, it's about the speed at which Domo works. It's a it's a low-code platform. So it's very easy for us to bring in new data sets. We have loads of different connectors that Domo offer at the point we went live. So some systems was really 2 or 3 clicks and the data was straight in the platform. And as you can see, we've rolled it out really quickly with all the different systems we've got, but also the amount of users. We've got over 800 users. We only have 800 people in our company. It's gone out to everybody. We have 10,000 cards, so a card is like a chart or a pie chart or something across multiple dashboards. We have over 3,000 data sets and 2,000 data flows. So we're constantly building this data all the time. And for me, the real power comes not just bringing one piece of data in and looking at that in isolation. The power for me has come from bringing multiple pieces of data across multiple systems that can track a customer journey and see what's happening end to end. Because what you often find is what's happening in one system isn't linked up with the next system. And probably the biggest example, and unfortunately it's not in my deck, but because it's happened so recently, was when we went live with one-touch switching, which happened on the 12th of September, which was last Thursday. One-touch switching is where customers can go to the provider they want to move to and ask the provider to move for them. It's a highly complex process that goes across multiple providers. So if someone's come from Virgin, we've got to talk to Virgin, we've got to match that customer, bring that in, get the information, and pull them across. When we were working on this project, we didn't have a great feel for the data. We only had some test data, and we didn't able to replicate every single scenario. So the day we went live, we had the data in the system, but we really didn't quite understand it as it's coming in. So what we did was actually built a group of people that on the fly were creating reporting, statistics, measuring the customer flow. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, I was able to tell you how many gains we got from different networks and what the networks were. And also where we were having problems. I was able to go into the data set, look at a chart, click on it, and get down to the individual customers that perhaps had a match fail with the other network. So this is the speed we're talking about. This system can work so quickly and it's so easy to use that users like me, I'm head of data, but I'm not a data guru. I can sit there and make my own dashboards off the data that's in front of me. So, where are we using it? So here's a little bit of a flavor for you. The most obvious way to use Domo is through dashboarding, whether that be how many sales we've got, how our advisor is online, whether that be how many orders we've got in today. We also use Domo to drive our campaign management, telling us all about the customer, how they're responding to different marketing campaigns, what's happening when we're going door to door to our customers. And Domo also drives customer experience, and this is a real key one for me. As a service management manager, it's all about experience for our customers. It's spotting when things aren't going the way they should. It's very easy. You all are working technology. We all talk about the happy journeys. They're the easy ones, yeah? It's the unhappy journeys that we're trying to spot, trying to work out where it's not quite working, where we can step in and intervene quickly and make decisions to correct the journey and allow those customers not to even realize they've been impacted by something. And really, I'm a fan of eating my own dog food. So we also use it for stability and transformation. during an incident, a P1 incident, we quite often use Domo to gather the data for us and tell us what's going on. It's amazing what you can gain in terms of insight, in terms of where things aren't going right. We also use it a lot in revenue assurance, where we're doing reconciling systems. So we take, for example, payments from a third-party company called checkout.com. They send us their data. We get the checkout.com data from our CRM systems, and we reconcile the two to make sure that we're loading in all the payments that we should be loading and there's no problems going on. So we use it absolutely everywhere. Okay, so here's some examples, dashboards. This is what a typical dashboard might look like. You can build these in seconds. You just basically go onto the data, you click on the analyzer, and you create whatever chart you want. If I want that top chart to be a pie chart, it's a 2-second change, and I can change it back again. It's really quite easy to build dashboards. And depending on how you build the dashboard, depends on what you want to know. In this dashboard here, it's saying how many customers we got by build cycle. And then over here in the right-hand corner, it's showing us what customers are failing their payments for. Maybe they haven't got direct debit set up, etc. If I wanted to click and find out what was in that bit there, the green box there, you just literally just click, and it then gives you the list of the customers that are in that status and why they're in that status. So the ability to drill down is huge with this tool. The other thing we use it for is customer experience. We call this one ghost appointments. So in our system, we have, when you book a broadband, you buy a broadband, you also book an installation slot. So that installation slot is for a period of time. So a customer might come on Monday and want to book a slot for Wednesday. They look at the availability and they book the slot. But we put a 10-minute reservation window on this. You know, like when you go to Ticketmaster and you're buying something that's saying you've got to complete your basket within, say, 5 minutes? Same principle. You have to complete that basket in 10 minutes. What we often find is that customers are going beyond those 10 minutes and not completing the transaction. With those ones, we were able to see what appointment the customer was choosing to do, and they'd completed the sale without the appointment, and afterwards we've gone in and loaded the appointment back on for them. So we've actually gone in and let them know. So to start with, we started off with creating alerts out of Domo that said, this customer has placed an order without appointment. We think they wanted to book this appointment. And those alerts were sent by email to our door-to-door agents or our telesales agents. And now we've gone that another step further, whereby we are then linked that to our automation, where the automation is automatically booking the appointments for the customer. And you know, I talked about drill downs earlier. This is a drill down here. I've just clicked on something. This is test data, by the way. I've clicked on something, and it's showing you the exact information, the customer's account number, when they created it, what appointment they wanted, and who the customer was. So straight away, I get to the end information. The other customer experience is appointment reminders. We often find customers forget about their appointments. We're all very busy. We all forget things, put in the diaries. So what we do is we take data from our CRM system, and we take data from our appointment system called Zinnia, and we join them together. So Zinnia tells me when the appointment is, the CRM tells me who the customer is. And then we use that data, we sort of munge it together, and then we use that data to send out reminders of day -7, day -5, and day -3. So in this case, Domo is taking data from 2 systems, bringing it together, and then outputting it to a 3rd system, which is Pinpoint in this case, to send the emails to the customer. So for me, the value of data isn't by single systems, as I said, it's about bringing data together. That's where it really starts to get powerful. And again, you can see we've outputted that into a email to the customer to remind them of the appointment they've got. And this is a really big one for me. Has anyone done a CRM transformation and migration? If you are, well, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's really hard to get the data right. So we used Domo loads in this. We took the CRM data, which was from 2 systems, billing system and a CRM system, into Domo. We did all the analysis on the data. We cleaned the data, which was huge, because there was lots of inconsistencies. And we also made sure the data was normalized to a format that the new system could accept it. For example, the new system, certain special characters it couldn't take. So we had to get rid of those special characters. Say somebody had $1 in their name for some bizarre reason. We cleaned all that data. Then once we cleaned it, we then created the data into certain batches and processed that into the new system and then loaded it in. We also created dashboards to show what our progress was. So on the left-hand side, you can see these are dates we did the migrations, and you could also drill down to see which customers were in which migration batch. And you could also see where they were going to in terms of their build cycles. So we create a dashboard to show what our progress was as well. We've had 0 issues with migrating to the new system that was caused by data from the old system, because we've done all that cleanup through Domo to get into the right format before we loaded it in. And that's incredible. If anyone's done a data migration, getting the data right is really, really hard from one system to another. And I don't think we could have done it as well as we have without it. And then finally, a bit about IT stability. So this is, we use the systems, the data system, to tell us things aren't right. Things look a bit wrong. The most basic one we started off with was our sales per day. We got the Domo system to kind of learn what sales we were doing on a day, and would alert if it hadn't seen any sales or it dropped a load of sales in a certain time period. So for example, on the bank holiday Monday, customers behave in a different way. It's not like a normal Monday. And we often see alerts happen at that point because customers aren't buying at the rate that they normally would. And also, I've got a few canaries. So if anyone's working in IT stability, you've got you've got certain systems that kind of show that you might have a problem. So what we have is, in one of our systems, if it's not happy, it starts putting orders in the pending state. They kind of get stuck. And what we've got here is we sort of measure that over time. If it hits a certain alert, we send out an email so that we know. It's what we call it, something's not right. We go and look at it, and we go and check that the system's okay. We talked about checkout.com payments. We have another dashboard here that shows where we can see a payment in checkout.com, but it's not been loaded into the CRM system. There is a bit of a time delay, so we put that in there as well. And then we check that any aren't put into the system. And then the last one over here was just about the sales drop that I said at the beginning. So we're using Domo in lots of different ways to solve lots of different problems. And really, I couldn't imagine doing my job now without having this system. Okay, so Chris, what's the future look like?
Thank you. So you can see what we've been up to and what we've been doing over the last couple of years. Putting this in perspective, we've been able to change one major system every month. 32 application changes that we've done, entire replacements of our billing CRM system. Having the data to support us around this technically has a massive difference, but we've also got 10 times the customer volume, 10 times the revenues to manage, and having the data in the right shape, in the right place for us has been absolutely critical for us to be able to run that quickly. But we're nowhere near the end of our journey on data. And we've got 4 key things that we'll be doing going forward. The first one is we have the aspiration to automate and personalize everything. We have the mantra that we want to use everything we know about the customer for the use, for their use. So everything we know about the customer has to have a purpose and a use case. Otherwise, there's no point in us storing that data. And we want to get to that level where we understand our data so well that we can, hand on heart, say everything we store, everything we know about that customer is being put back into use cases, is being put back into journeys to make us successful. We know that the personalization that we'll do, and it really is hyper-personalization now, is understand the journeys that every customer is going through and personalize those journeys for those customers. Whether that's a customer services journey, whether that's a sales journey to make sure we're selling the right things to the right customers, or whether that's in our network, spotting faults, preemptively fixing issues for a customer. I don't think anybody ever wants to phone into a broadband company and say, I've got a problem. So we really do aim to preemptively fix every problem for our customers. That's a genuine aspiration. We know AI is a fantastic opportunity for us. We've started to dip our toe into the AI field and AI use cases, but we've really only just begun. For me as a CIO, I go to bed every night worried about AI in terms of the security side of it. I'm wanting to make sure that I have a safe environment so that we can exploit, join customer data, join our corporate curated knowledge together so that we can give customers the best experience and the best answers. But I need to do that in a safe way, and I believe the platforms I've got now are starting to enable me to be able to do that with confidence. So that is critical for me. And then just in terms of sheer efficiency, Automation is absolutely top of my agenda. Every department, every area, we cannot really continue to grow headcount in line with our customer base. So we have to have a flat headcount, growing base. So automation is really the only way that I can effectively square that circle. So I think it's pretty simple, and I think we're on the right path. And I think the really critical thing for me is that we've got the right foundations in place. We've got everything in one place. We're confident about the solution. It can answer our questions. It's changed our culture, and we can move forward with real confidence from this point. So I am hoping we have left exactly 5 minutes left for Q&A now. I believe we need to put on headsets to be able to hear you guys from a Q&A perspective, but really keen to just take any questions that you'd like to ask us. And before we do, just to say, I really appreciate you guys all taking the time to listen to us today. And yeah, looking forward to the questions. Thank you. Is that on?
Yeah, mine's on. Can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh.
Great. So I love the fact that you had created this open data culture within the company. Given this is the governance theatre, what were the safeguards you put in place around that, so we can kind of learn from your experience as well? Yeah,
I mean, look, we really had to understand our data to be able to set up the right governance. We have effectively several roles in the company that we set up, and your access is dependent upon your roles and your level of expertise and training through assessment. So for somebody to have full access to all of the data, be able to delete the data, create new data cards, new data sets, they have to have a really good level of competence. They have to have a specific set of training, and then as your training becomes maybe is less, your level of access and your level of ability to be able to change things sort of diminishes through to somebody that we really just want to visualize data. So training is critical. Training mapping to those governance levels is critical. The guardrails around the data sets itself is relatively critical. So we have the ability to lock down certain data sets. We have the ability to say that this data set is available to all, some divisional, departmental, or individual level. So we can set those kind of levels. We do have a set of governance users, user groups that we set up to manage that governance. We check in with the exec on a regular basis as well to have that conversation to say, are we happy with the controls that we've got in place? We have our security guys also involved in that and look at it from an ISO perspective. So, quite multifaceted, but it's more the sentiment, I think, that's really critical, that data is an enabler, and we are trying to get as much to as many people to be able to allow them to play, learn, trial, test, create new use cases. And with that ethos, it helps make the rest of the governance process that much easier. Good, I think we've got time for one more. I think we've got 3 minutes, is that right? 2 minutes.
Fine. So how big was the team, the combined team between you guys and Domo, and what was the critical factors for success that enabled you to get everything up and running in 12 months?
Yeah, small is the answer. So from the Domo side, 2 or 3 people were involved in the process. We had one legendary, brilliant guy called Chris Sweeney, who is a fantastic technical expert. What we did though is we tried to do as much as we could ourselves. We felt that the key to learning is have people that can connect data, that can that understand the system, the process. So we did try and do that as much as we could ourselves. We had 3 or 4 people on our side, I suppose, involved in that. Not full time by any stretch of the imagination, but these guys were able to connect 1, 2, 3 systems a week, and even more at times if we really wanted to. So small team, focused, tried to do as much ourselves to embed the learning. Had brilliant support from Domo, Chris Sweeney, the legend, if we needed to, and I think that was sufficient to really motor through the problem. What we didn't do is try and be too selective either with the data that we were bringing in. We felt actually the other key to unlocking quickly was just to bring in everything, look at the data when it's there, trim if we needed to, and that really helped us as well. So super quick. Yep. Good. Guys, I think we're done. Thank you very much indeed. Have a great day, and look forward to speaking to you soon.